Should be on now. Hello, everybody. I'm hoping that this comes through loud and clear. It looks like we are live, and while that's going live, I will check to make sure that we are actually where I thought we would land. But if you are brand new to me, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Zakia Ringgold of Natural Soap by Zakia, as well as Live Soap School. And if you joined me last weekend, we were pretending to be like scaling up every single day. And I don't mean to say pretending, but the plan was to go live on a daily basis and share this journey of scaling up for one of the largest vending events I have ever been a part of. And so what I wanted to do was, number one, make sure that we made it onto the live stream. Let's see. To be like scaling up every single day. And I don't mean to say darn. Hold on. You're going to get feedback. Was to go live on a daily basis and let's mute that. Let's mute that. Mute that. I know why. It's showing up on my Facebook. Sorry, guys. Let's close there. Let's close Instagram. There we go. Sorry, guys. So I know that we made it to Instagram. Did we make it to Facebook as well? It looks like we did. All right. Now, last place I need to check, and then we can do this thing, is YouTube. So no matter where you are watching, welcome to the broadcast. And what we are going to do today is get the sugar scrubs filled. I've had these sitting here for a couple of days. Shout out to Marlene, who has been constantly saying, what you doing, girlfriend? You only got a couple days. We're in November. How you gonna get it done? How you going to get it done? My aunt for showing up. She did all of the packaging. And then also with my best friend who will be here tomorrow as well as this afternoon to help me with all of the soap. And so here, what I'll do, let me come over really quickly. I'm going to switch here so that I can actually see what you all are seeing and make sure our sound is working. All right, yes, that's working. I can close there and there. All righty. And now this is saying that my battery's about to die. We don't want that. So let's get that plugged in. That battery is charging. And then I can also see your comments over here. I see some thumbs up. Not sure if that's coming from the Facebook side or the Instagram side or the YouTube side, but thank you all for being here. Last thing I got to do is switch this over so that I can actually see what you all are seeing. Perfect. All right, so what I'll do is show you what we have so far with the sugar scrub. This is our black cherry sugar scrub. Hopefully you all can see that. I do have to give it a little stir to make sure that all of the ingredients are incorporated in there. I added the preservative right before we went live, and it looks heavenly. Here, let's switch you guys over. Yeah, so you can see a little bit better there. And so what we'll be doing is getting all of these into the jars, and then we also have a French vanilla as well. And so I may put a bit of this into like a combo where we have some black cherry and French vanilla together. Kind of like a double bubble for those people who are undecided, like, oh, I really like this one or I like that one. We'll have that. And so what we do now is we just take these. These will hold about 10 ounces. And so we'll do several 10-ounce jars, and then we'll do some 6-ounce jars so that they can go into the gift baskets. So hopefully you all can see that. And then what I do is I'll take our little ice cream scoop here and just scoop it in. to try not to make a huge mess by just keeping it right over top. And what I'm trying to do is get it right to the line. And by getting it to the line, I know that I'm going to have a minimum of 10 ounces inside of this sugar scrub. Now, this sugar scrub is an emulsified sugar scrub, which means it goes on like a lotion when you are in the shower and or in the tub, wherever you want to use it. And the beauty of it is it will exfoliate the skin. So we should be exfoliating at least 3 times a week. A jar this size will typically last about 2 weeks if you do it every day. Definitely on your feet, your legs, your elbows, your arms, and even around your skin, around your arms and your hands. Because what you want to do is get rid of any of that excess dead skin. Now, unfortunately, I cannot see if you all are commenting. I'm hoping that you all are. It's telling me that we have 72 comments, but I don't see 72 comments on my screen. So if I miss your comment, what I will do is I will reply to you in the replay, and then I'll tag you in it as well. And so here, that's all. It's kind of like scooping water ice. And if you're from Philly, you might say water ice. If you're not from Philly, you're probably like, why do y'all say water like that? But, you know, it's a Philly thing, kind of like those Eagles. And so we just keep scooping out until we get them all full. And I think you all can see that. I got a lot of scoops in here. And this shouldn't take too long. I'm hoping that it goes pretty quickly. So then we can move on to the vanilla, and then we can get back to the lotion and the soap. And so I titled this broadcast, Let's Talk About Scaling Up for a Large Event. Like I mentioned, the Christmas Village is the largest event that I've been to. They are expecting up to 1 million people to come through there. And so the interesting thing is, how am I going to prepare for, number one, being out there from Thanksgiving until Christmas Eve? Here, I'll put you back here. From Thanksgiving until Christmas Eve-ish. And so I had to try and figure out what were the products that I was going to make. So of course we're making soap, but what are those other things that people need that we make that we could also have within our Christmas Village hut? And so the very first thing that I said was the soap, and then we have the sugar scrubs. The sugar scrubs are something that you should be using right after you get in the shower. Because what you want to do is you want to get rid of all of that dead skin, and then you want to clean your skin so that you have like a little natural glow. And then, of course, we will have our herbal body oils. And the reason for the herbal body oils is you want to lock in that moisture. We're going into the winter months. So after you get out of the shower, you will want to make sure that you are hydrating. And then, of course, some people love lotion over the body oil, so we'll also be making the lotion as well. Then we have the lip balms, because every girl loves a lip balm, and the guys. Nobody really likes chapped lips. So we also have that as well. And so we have to get all of those done. Now, you may notice that I have 2 different sizes that I have up here. One is the larger 10-ounce size, and the other is the smaller one, because we will be offering gift boxes at the village as well. So what I'll do is I'll keep on filling this. And the nice thing about having the ice cream scoop is we have pretty consistent sizes with minimal waste. I do have a lotion filler, but I wouldn't want to use the lotion. That actually looks like an ice cream scoop. I wouldn't want to use the lotion filler to do this because I don't want those sugar granules to get caught in there, and then you kind of miss out on the beauty of what you have. And so the scoop is kind of relaxing when you're doing it. And you get a chance, look, this is what I was using to stir it up. So let's put it off to the side. And it smells really good. This is our cherry. Oh my gosh, Carol Ann. And one more of the 10 ounce. That one's a little extra. A little extra. All right, so now I haven't tried the scoop with this one. Yeah, we don't want it going down the sides. The better thing to have done would have been to take the lids off of the little ones in order to kind of move the process a little faster, but you know. And then we'll make 2 more of these sugar scrubs for a total of 4 different ones. As I've been planning this out, one thing that I did notice when I went to other in-person events is having too many options for people kind of confuses them. It's a little bit overwhelming to the senses, like, oh my gosh, which one do I choose? And so I'll only have 4 different ones. And then if they want a different scent, I will encourage them to subscribe to the mailing list. And I'll take note of it, but I don't think I will necessarily run off and make it. I am going, that was advice from Marlene as well. Like, you're going to hear all kinds of things. Can you make me a porcupine soap? Well, that's interesting. But you are so, hello, Miss Francis. Good to see you. And I'm glad your comment actually showed up, because I was like, I don't know if this thing is working. It's telling me that they're there, but, you know, sometimes the way this thing works out isn't necessarily what we want. So for this sugar scrub, we have butters, we have oils, we have the emulsifying wax, and then we also have the preservative and the colorant to make it this beautiful shade of red. And then the reason I'm doing the sugar scrubs in these clear see-through jars is so that color is kind of something that people love. And then, of course, with the scent. So I want them to be able to see the color of the sugar scrub right from within the thing. Great to see you too. And so now I just have to get down to the bottom and make sure all of these are full. And then we will do the exact same thing for the vanilla that I have sitting off to the side. So I did say lessons learned. I'm not sure where to begin with lessons learned, and there's a reason for that. I've learned quite a bit in just the last week. Number one, time is never on your side, but you have to do the best you can with the time you have. And in order to scale up, I had to really plan out what were the products that I wanted to offer. And as I was making that plan, I realized I didn't have all of the ingredients in order to make it effectively. So I had to go out and either order it. The sugar in particular, I went to BJ's so that I can get the big 25-pound bags. And then also for all of my recipes, like the lotion, the shower gel, the soap, many of them use similar ingredients, so I had to plan for how much of each one I wanted to make so that I was only making one really large order. That order arrived on Thursday. And shout out to my UPS driver, because I wasn't home. And he sat and waited until I got here because there were so many boxes. It was over 1,500 pounds of oils and butters. And so what he said was there was no way that I was going to leave this here for you to have to try and figure out and get into your garage. But I saw that the delivery was on its way. So by the time I got home, we were ready to bring it into the garage. And so that was a great thing. Another thing, treat your delivery drivers very well. Every time he comes, he gets a bar of soap, some lotion, and our beard wash. And so it's like, and I think for Christmas, I'll get him like a gift card or a thank you because he always delivers right to the garage instead of to the front of the house. Um, some when I always know when it's not his day to work because it ends up right in the front of the house. But typically he's the consistent driver and he will bring it right into the garage, which is fantastic. Another thing, and this is something that has been really hard for me in all of my businesses, accepting help. Asking for help, but then accepting the help when it's there, right? And I think, I don't really know why that's so hard to do. I think it has to do with just thinking that you're the only one that can do a particular thing, but then also trusting that others will do it the way that you would. The interesting thing about that is my aunt has always been there, whether it be just making sure Paige is okay so that I can go ahead and come out into this garage. My best friend, she calls all the time. Hey, what we doing? What you got to make? How you going to get ready? All of that stuff. And oftentimes, it's me that's the holdup. It is absolutely, positively, 100% me that is the holdup. Number one, I'm not prepared for the help in terms of what exactly is it that we're working on or that we want to make. And then the other part of that is, hey, are you really ready for it? So the nice thing is they are persistent. They won't let me just kind of disappear into thin air. They will say, I called you, or they'll show up. It's like, oh, I guess we're doing this today, huh? I guess this is what we're doing. So yeah, asking for the help and then being willing to accept it when it shows up. And I'll give you an example. We are not doing the shrink wrap bags for the soap. This time around, what we're doing is, I have an amazing support system, Miss Francis. Unheard of. And I hadn't realized, well, I've always known that. That's not true. From the time I say I have an idea, they rally around me like no other. My mom, my uncles, my friends, my daughters, my brother, anybody in my immediate circle, when I say, hey, I'm doing this thing, sometimes they'll watch to see if it's something that I'm definitely positively going to move for. Oh, you guys can't see what we have on the side. Here, let's switch you. So they are the jars that we were able to get jarred up. And what I'll do is I'll just get the lids on them now. But my family, what they'll do is, number one, they will watch to see if I am serious about what it is that I say I want to do. Once they see that I am absolutely positively going full force into it, they are 100% behind me along the way. So starting with my mom, when I first started making soap and I started getting all of these ingredients like the colorants and the fragrances, the essential oils, she took me to Home Depot and she got me the table that I still use whenever I do go to an in-person event. That was the table that we used in my dining room. And she went and got all of that stuff and she just put it on her credit card. Like, okay, you need space and a place for all of this stuff. My uncle, he is the gadget guy and he works in a manufacturing plant. And so he would see how I was wrapping the products and all of that. And so he came and he brought me a shrink wrap system. The very first shrink wrap system, it was the heat gun, um, and it was the shrink film. The actual, it was a whole roll of film where I didn't need to buy any more for the first 2 years. And so, and then when this soap studio was built, right? My brother put the floor down, the drywall, the electrical, everything in here that made it possible for me to make the products and be comfortable within this space. Even this island back here that I use, he put the, what is that called? The tile on there. I don't know, Miss Francis, you were there when I was trying to figure out how am I actually going to make product on top of here and not ruin this here. And he put the tile down, and so now it doesn't matter if I spill lye on it, essential oil on it, fragrance or whatever. Oh, you voted online. Oh, you voted on the tile. Yes, because at first we were using like this plastic film, and that as soon as you drop something on there, it was destroyed. It was a whole bunch of things. But the interesting thing is they've always been there, and they've always done things like that. My best friend Birdie, whenever she comes by, she typically has orders from 3 or 4 people and leaves with bags and bags of soap. She also will help me when I do really large batches when I was still in the dining room. And I mean, we were pouring about 100 pounds of soap, right? So that to me, and I know I'm missing some people, but I say all that to say it doesn't come like unappreciated, but it's in you trying to build your business that you have to be open to accepting that help from people. Sometimes you don't have to ask. They will see what you are doing and kind of come, I say come to my rescue, because if they don't, I probably wouldn't be, it's kind of like people holding you accountable for, hey, you said you wanted to do this thing, let's get her done. Get her done. And so that to me is really, really powerful, and it kind of keeps me going on those days that I absolutely positively want to quit. The production side, it looks all glitz and glamour and I definitely want to do that. But is that something that you really want to do? Do you want to scale? This is showing me how big or how small I actually want to be. Because this is just we are nowhere near the amount that we're going to need to service almost 1 million people. And I'm not saying that 1 million people are going to come, but just the sheer fact that there is foot traffic in the numbers of about 1 million people, what it would take to actually have enough product for that. So a lot of times we say, oh, I want to get bigger, I want to get bigger, I want to get bigger. But are we ready for what that means? Do we actually have the space to get bigger? Right? I have a 2-story house outside of my home that was built specifically for soap making, and I'm already running out of space. Right? So with the ingredients, so you have the raw ingredients, then you have the preparation of it. And then once you pack it all up, where are you going to store it to continue to produce over and over and over again? So they are all things that I didn't necessarily consider when I said, oh, I want to get bigger. And what does that actually look like and mean for all the other things that I have going on? And so that's something that I hope all of you, whatever your business is, I don't care if it's soap or anything else, do you have the capability or the desire to scale beyond what you currently do? Soap making started out as, hey, I kind of like this pouring of the ingredients. And then I wanted to teach people what I was learning as I was learning it. And that really opened me up to so many other things because all the things I had to learn along the way to do that. So the online stores, the live streaming, the podcasting, all of those things became pivotal for me being able to scale beyond the soap. And it's always interesting when I say scale beyond the soap, um, because my moniker from I don't think I knew exactly what more than soap meant when I would say it on the broadcast. Like, and of course, we are so much more than soap, and you are so much more than soap. We would say that all the time. And your words have power, I think is what I'm getting to with that. Let me plug you guys in. Your words absolutely, positively have power because I spoke that into existence. I absolutely spoke that into existence. Is that charging now? Yeah. Yeah. And so, what I meant when I said more than soap is we are mothers, we are fathers, we are artists, we are creative. We have an abundance of experiences beyond the actual product. There's so much that goes into what it is that we're making and why we're doing it and why we keep doing it even though we may not want to in that moment. And so as I would look back on those broadcasts from the early days and just all the things I've done in soap making, I started to realize that, hey, that is absolutely, positively a true statement and sentiment. So these are the sugar scrubs. These are the cherry ones. Got to put it on the right camera. So these are the cherry emulsified sugar scrubs, which are great at exfoliating your skin. I saw Casey say, hey, I love you too. I like a jar. Would you like the smaller jar or the larger jar? Speaking of, some of you have been asking, like, I don't live in Philly, but I want some of that soap. You will be able to order on November the 15th. The online shop will go live. If you have previously ordered from me, be sure to check out your email because you will be getting an exclusive discount so that you can order your products. All right, so that is the cherry sugar scrub. Now, I only have one of those scoops. So now we have to do the French vanilla sugar scrub. Same process. This one has already been blended up. I just need to mix it up and grab us some more jars. And I kind of sort of want to spin the camera so you can see what I mean when I say making sure that you have the space to scale up. Because not only do I have all of the equipment, right? And the equipment is a part of being able to scale up. Not only do I have that equipment, but I have the ingredients. And in order to receive all of those oils and butters, the packaging, I had to have space, which I don't, by the way. It is like boxes on top of boxes on top of boxes. So even though we are in the soap studio, we are kind of still operating in the same, like for the live streams, we're operating in the same, wait, that still has some of my cherry sugar scrub in there. Get out. We are operating in the same amount of space for the live streams, right? And so, and just so you know, like this is one of the boxes that I received that has all of the containers. Well, this is one of 3 boxes, that size, that has all of those containers. I'll take one of each. I like to mix the cherry with the vanilla. Those sound amazing. Yeah, I forgot I said I was going to do a mixture. I forgot I was going to do a mixture, but we still have 2 more batches to make. So I will make those with the intention of being able to make some custom blends to go out at the event. So now what I'll do is, again, this has been sitting. So it's gotten a little bit thicker. I'm not sure. Here, let's switch you over so you can see the consistency of that. So it kind of looks like a water ice. So it has all of those nourishing ingredients that will go into your skin as you are exfoliating. Kind of looks like mashed potatoes. I could have given this just a hint more of vitamin E oil, but that's okay. But I use an herbal infusion so that it's not just the olive oil or the grapeseed oil that's going in there. Hey, Emily, good to see you. Emily, I talk about you all the time. You need to tell Daymond John you need a full warehouse for creating. Well, remember, I did go on live with Daymond John that one time, and his piece of advice to me was to find a co-packer. And a co-packer, for anybody who doesn't know, is you provide them with your recipe, and they already have the space and the equipment to make your products. That's what a lot of the superstars who are now making shampoo, conditioner, all the things that they used to not do, but now they realize, hey, there's a market for it, and to try and stay, no, let me not go there. But that's what they do. They will have, I don't know if they do a co-packing or a private label. But that was his advice to me right before the pandemic hit. This would be a great place to insert that video so you all could see it. But that was his advice when I said I have an opportunity to go into a store. Hey, Big K, how are you? That was his piece of advice. He said you should really consider getting a co-packer. He said to go to like an expo or a hall like that. My only issue, and again, this is that whole scaling up conversation. My only issue with that is, can I still say it's by Zakia? Right? There's this handmade element to it. Yes, he gives great advice. I call him the captain. Yes, indeed. All right, so we're going to use this ice cream scoop because I've used our other one, and hopefully we get the same outcome. There we go. I think we will. The idea is we just don't want to waste too much product. Because anything that doesn't make it in the jar means that it's money wasted. Sure, you can call it, but you can, yeah, but it doesn't feel as authentic as, hey, you guys have made me watch it. Watched me make it. And so it's like, are we sure that's what we want to do? I don't know. But yeah, but that was his advice when I was considering opening a store, which was really good advice because 4 months later, we were in lockdown for 2.5 years. And if I had that store, I'd know that I probably still wouldn't be making soap. I know that I would not have moved forward with it. Thanks, Z. We'll review that. Yeah, I talk about you, Emily, all the time because I talk about the virtual soap summit. And you're always like because people are like, how did you do it? I'm like, yeah, I had speakers from all over the world, one from as far away as the Philippines, like 2 weeks into the pandemic. And they're like, what? Yep. And her name was Emily. In case you guys don't know, Emily is another handcrafted artisan. I met her at one of the soap conferences, and I kind of fell in love with her. She just had this really nice spirit and energy about her, very positive all the time. And so when I asked her would she be willing to teach, she had a really interesting topic in that many people were being displaced, and where she lives in the Philippines, they could reuse, now they use other oils and butters as well, but she showed us how to reuse cooking oils to make soap. So instead of buying all these exotic coconut, almond, whatever, kukui, all those, all that stuff, you could just reuse the same oil that you just fried your chicken with to make soap. And then that would be a way for you to save money. You could make a product that is functional and it's extremely moisturizing and lathering and conditioning. All the ings are in there. So she was one of the speakers. We had 15 speakers and we taught everything from lotion, creams, candles, online stores, everything. But yeah, that's how I talk about you, Emily, in a positive way. In a very positive, awesome that you all stay connected and supportive. We need to. Like, this industry is small, but not so small. And there's always something that we can learn from other artisans. For instance, I shared on my other broadcast the disaster if you guys didn't see the disaster broadcast that we had, that one, I was making my turmeric and ginger soap, and it turned rock solid in about 5 seconds. T minus 5 seconds, right? And so I had I call them my soapy mentors, soapy sisters. They were both on that broadcast. And during the broadcast, they were trying to help me. But, like when you're sweating over the bowl, you can't really look up and see what they're saying, right? But immediately after that broadcast, they called me, gave me ideas like, hey, have you considered this? Because I couldn't figure out why it went so quickly, so fast. And the truth of the matter is, I had way too many dry ingredients and did not account for my water discount. I saw your live with the accelerated soap and had all the feels for you. Then I kid you not, my live 2 days later on TikTok and made chocolate soap on a stick. Oh, that is horrible. So see, it happens. The interesting thing is I posted 2 short, and here's the thing about people, and none of you, I'm just saying, what will be promoted and go farther on these social media streets. I posted a short, one where everything went exactly as planned and hunky-dory. The other one, on the other hand, I posted the disaster of it going soap on a stick. That one got 2,000 views in a matter of minutes. The other one is still sitting at 200 views. Same exact location, same exact space, but people like to see a disaster. I don't know why that is. I guess it helps to show that you're human, or it's something to laugh at or look at or whatever. And the reason I actually posted it is because while we were live, someone on Instagram said, and this is how I read it. I don't know if that's how they meant it, but this is how I read it. I bet she won't keep this video up, the soap lady. And that's how I read it, right? Now, I'm not sure if that's how she meant it, but that's how I read it. I said, well, yeah, I'm actually going to keep it up. And in fact, I'm going to make it a short so that people can see the entire video, because I think it's important. I think what we always see when we're looking at finished products is the perfection, like the photoshopped version, the this is how it's supposed to be. But if somebody who my target audience is the new soap maker, and that's just not reality with any kind of product making, even taking your pictures, ordering your ingredients, measuring your ingredients, things will go wrong. It is how you actually come back from that and how you learn from that that is going to be important. I always tell people, remember that social media is the highlight reel. You are seeing 60 to 90 seconds out of a 24-hour day, and it's probably the best of that. And so that becomes an unrealistic expectation for you to, because it feels like, oh my God, I'll never get that. But you got to see all the bloopers that go along with it. You have to see all the bloopers that go along with it, or at least know that there is another side of that coin. Now, once I get to the Christmas Village, it's only going to be the soap that is perfect, the soap that I would use for me and my family. But for those soap makers, or even, I don't even want to say just soap makers. If you make products, bring your audience with you on the journey. It is so important. It is so important because that's when you're going to try and find your true supporters in things like that. Some of my first customers were strangers, people who I had never met, and they still continue to be my customers because they were here from the get-go, from the beginning. And so it's so important that you remember you're human, mistakes happen, and you might make some money on YouTube Shorts for sharing those mistakes. Or TikTok, wherever your social media thing is, leverage it. Every single thing you do is content. Everything. You are speaking nuggets. Hey, Bobby, how are you? How are you doing? I'm sorry I missed you at the conference, but we shall get together at some point. All right. I feel, yeah, and there is a difference. The vanilla is definitely more coarse than the cherry. And that was because I had a little less in terms of the oils in here. So this one's a lot more grainy. So if you all are just joining, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Zakia, and what we are doing is we are packaging up our sugar scrubs that we will be having at the Philadelphia Christmas Village. The Philadelphia Christmas Village is a large marketplace that happens in Center City from Thanksgiving all the way up to Christmas Eve. I am fortunate enough to be a part of LA21, and they said, hey, we want you to vend. And what the awesome thing about that is they got a grant. Vending at Christmas Village is pretty expensive. And so the way that they're able to do this is they have several small businesses that have gone through their entrepreneurship training program that they will be sponsoring for the booth. And remember, I have 3 other businesses that I'm running. So being there every day for 5 weeks isn't really in the cards. So this became a really awesome opportunity because I only need to be there 1 day a week out of the 5 weeks and then 1 weekend in the season. Here's the sock cop hands doing all the work for us, right? And so that opportunity presented itself and I jumped on it. And now we are at the point where I get to share this journey with all of you on how are we going to actually make it there in time. So what we've been doing is sharing the scaling up in terms of making the 30-pound batches. You can make larger batches than 30 pounds, right? There are like these huge blocks where you can pour 500 pounds of soap at a time. I don't have that because, again, I don't necessarily have the space for that or the orders, but maybe as a result of Christmas Village, we will need to scale up to those really huge blocks, and then I can employ some folks, right? And so that's what we are doing and what we have been doing. Let me switch over to the smaller ones now, just so I can make sure I have enough. Now, the reason I'm making the smaller jars is I do want to have some pre-made gift boxes, and those boxes will have like a mini sugar scrub in there, a body oil, a mini lotion, like a sampling that people can just gift and put under the tree. So it'll have several items in there that they'll be able to try, and then of course rebuy any additional ones. Let me get some of these jars out. Paige did try to help me make some merch. What's the fragrance? I missed the beginning. So the first one is a cherry. This one is our French vanilla. And we had a blue one, but we put a little too much color in there, and I don't want people to have blue skin, so we have to redo that one. And now the interesting thing about this is, remember I was talking about delegating a little bit earlier. Now, the only thing I'll have to do for all of those family and friends that want to come and help, all of the stuff is bottled. We just need you to put the labels on it. Put the labels on it. And that's one less thing to do. On my behalf, anyway. And then we also are switching the packaging for this just to make life a little bit easier. We're going to be using organza bags with a label on there because, again, gifting, making it easy for people to see it as a gift, but then also less time to wrap it. All right, how many of those little ones do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me 7. Do all of you use sugar scrubs? Paige is in love with sugar scrubs and her whole skincare routine. Do you tape the top down? I won't for this. If I was shipping it, I would. These will all be with me within the booth. So there shouldn't be a chance for them. And then they also have like a little paper ring on the inside of the cap that will prevent it from kind of sealing out. Sometimes what you could do is put like some plastic wrap on there and put your lid on there if you want a little bit of extra security. But because most of these won't be shipping, they will be with me in the village, I won't worry too much about leakage, but that's a good point. But hey, when they go to put it in their bag, we don't want it to leak. I'll think about that. That's a good question, Miss Francis. That's a really good call out. Because nobody wants to have something. My granddaughter also uses sugar scrubs. Yeah. Sugar scrubs are like that nice little treat if you can't make it to the spa, or even if you can, something that you can do at home to take care of your skin. Like I said, you should be exfoliating at least 3 times a week. Get all of that dead skin off. Of course, bathing twice a day is always encouraged. But you want to be able to have that glowing skin revealed. And nothing does more for your skincare than the water that you drink, right? Nothing can hydrate you more than actually drinking H2O. However, these are added benefits. All right, we are at the bottom. I think I might be able to get 3 more jars out of that. That's the tap, tap, tap in action. You do this too? Wow, you cover so many topics, hard to keep up. Hey, AB, good to see you. Yeah, I love everything about natural skincare. I started out with just soap making. But the beauty of studying any industry is you start to see all of the other complementary things that go with it. So for instance, in order to clean your skin, of course you need soap. But once you clean your skin, you want to hydrate your skin. So do you want to do that with a lotion, or do you want to do that with a body oil? And if you do it with a body oil, how can you enrich those body oils so that you get the benefits of the various plant material, the different herbs? So a lot of my body oils and my lotions, even the base that we used in this sugar scrub is herbal infused. So we infused marshmallow root, calendula, chamomile, several herbs into the oils that we were then going to use for the sugar scrub. So you get more than just sugar and oil, but you also get the benefits of those herbs right within the products. Everything, and it was interesting. There's our empty bowl. We did it, guys. The interesting thing is everything aside, go to bed. Natalie, hello. Can I add you? My mother always loved argan oil as long as she lived. Congratulations on all your books. Thank you so much. Let's bring you guys to the front. Take it back one time. Take it back. Take it back one time. Natalie, so good to see you. So the interesting thing is every single thing that we learned for the soap making could easily be applied to all of those other products, which is why we now have this huge cabinet that is full of herbs. We have papaya leaves, plantain leaves, valerian root, yarrow, sage, lemon balm, paprika. I know that's not in there, but I just felt like saying paprika. And so that was kind of the start of it. And they always say when God gives you a vision, it's never a conference call. It's just you and them. Another reason I started out saying we used to always say more than soap. And at the time, I don't think I actually knew what that meant. It was more than soap in terms of the products, but I was more than a soap maker on those broadcasts. I was sharing my journey into figuring out what it meant to be a business owner and a mom and a full-time employee and building an audience organically without some famous person giving you a shout out or paying for ads. All of those things I did. Drop the links to your products. I'll try something. My skin is dry most days. What do you recommend? Triple butter blend for that dry skin. Yo. All right, that was a little bit extra. That is our #1 soap. In terms of the link, the shop is closed until November 14th, but it is naturalsoapbyzakia.com, which is a mouthful to say. I will type it in the comments, but you can just put in by, B-Y, Zakia, ZAKIA.com. Put your email address in there, and because you're on the email, when the shop opens on the 14th, you will get a special discount and promotion that you can use to place an order. And so what ended up happening is not only did I learn how to make the products, I got to teach people how to make the products. I got to then constantly leverage everything that I was learning for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So we started producing virtual conferences. I started building online stores, running social media campaigns, training people on live streaming, setting up membership communities, podcasting, how to write a book, how to self-publish. All of the things that I was learning for my soap business became offerings. And sometimes, thank you. Which supplier did you order those jars from? Uline. And the nationwide friend to all. Triple butter blend for the win. For the win. And so it became really, really, and Uline is right here in Pennsylvania, so I get it like the next day. I also got my organza bags from there. My packing boxes I get from there. And shipping can be expensive depending on where you are, but all of that needs to be accounted for in your cost. Speaking of cost, I'm going to put a side-by-side up in the community and on my Facebook page. Water is more expensive than it was a year ago. Water. So I got water. I'm trying to find out how to say it without sounding, I love Uline. Yeah, because you get the jars and, I think I ordered the caps separately because I got a palette of these jars because I can use these for the sugar scrubs, the whipped soap, the body butters, although I'm probably not going to be offering body butters. Although winter is the time for body butter. I don't know. That's still up in the air. All right, but water. I saw, you know how your memories come up on Facebook? Oh, here's this one right here. Well, one of my memories came up of me going to Giant to get distilled water. In the distilled, I am a soap and body butter maker because I attended your first virtual conference, Dr. Virgin. We were just talking about the conference. We're doing another one in September 2024. But hold on. Let me, can I don't know, does this work over here? See, I be doing too much. Bring this. No, I can't. But I'm so glad. I am so glad to hear that. That virtual conference. This is why, listen, the virtual conference is what allowed me to leave my full-time job. When I did that virtual conference, any snacks at this conference? Yes, there will be snacks. Of course, we can't have a conference without snacks. But that conference was what allowed me to test all of my technology skills. Could I launch a virtual platform, right? Could I have all of the things that people would need in terms of like the recipe books that became like digital downloads and all of that stuff. And so once I was able to do that, I published that. I don't know if you were there for the very last session, but I shared it on my Facebook page. In one of the libraries that I used to volunteer teaching kids how to make soap was a friend on Facebook, Mr. Ashby. He also runs Literacy Nation now, who I'm their organizational director, but that's another lesson in and of itself. He saw that and he happened to be the president of the Black Caucus of the American Library Association. And he said, hey, can you do that thing you did for soap makers and product makers for a group of librarians? Now, I didn't know what this was, but I knew I could do the tech. I said, I don't know anything about being a librarian, but I absolutely positively know about the tech to be able to get your speakers ready, your sponsors ready, your attendees logged in, like all of the things that I had learned by doing it for my own conference. Well, that was in May of 2020. And if you all remember, the pandemic hit in March of 2020. So when most people were still trying to figure out what the new normal was, I was in a full-blown pivot with the Soap Summit, as well as starting to produce it for other librarians, nonprofit institutions, universities. They all needed a way to stay connected. And this was not just a Zoom room. This was like complete virtual networking, sponsor booths, and all of that. And they couldn't figure out, well, we're just going into this pandemic. How do you know this stuff? Because I had been testing it for 2 or 3 years prior to the pandemic, because I thought that I was going to take everything that I was learning back to the corporate space. Well, and I say this all the time, timing was good to you. A lot of people needed those virtual, 2.5 years of virtual and hybrid events. We did over 150 in that time period. And sometimes I was doing 2 in a week and then 3 simultaneously, because people still needed to have their membership meetings, their annual conferences, their leadership training, like all the things that I had attended when I was in corporate. So timing was everything. And if you think about it, in 2020, I was in the best of both worlds. I only knew how to sell my products online, and I made soap. And what did we hear on every single commercial? Wash your hands with soap, right? So I was a soap maker. Boom. That business was banging. But then nobody could meet in person. They had to meet online. And so within 3 months, I had replaced my annual full-time salary as a solopreneur, doing it part-time. So there you go. That is what started Virtual Experience Design Agency. So everything that I did, from online stores, social media marketing, email marketing. Live streaming was a huge part of that because the interesting thing is, this was something that I proposed at work. I said, listen, I am watching these experts, and I always put air quotes. I am watching these experts get people to pay hundreds of dollars for these training programs by live streaming. I said, we have trouble getting people to come to mandatory training that's not even, they don't have to pay for it. It's just a part of being able to do their job better. Oh no, we can't do live streaming. The board will never approve it. That'll never go, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So all of that. And I was like, well, if I can just show them. And that was why I did Live Soap School. It was so that I could show them, hey, here's an example of how it works with something as simple as soap. And when you think about healthcare and all of that, this is the perfect thing. Absolutely not. We can't do it. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Same folks came back and hired me as a consultant when the pandemic hit. Hey, Zakia, remember that thing you were telling us about the live streaming and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And so I'm saying all that to say, you have got to really believe in what it is that you're doing, number one. And number two, don't wait for the crowd to say, hey, that's a good idea, or it's okay for you to do it. Insert random policy here. Chicka, chicka, chick. Dr. Virginia, the virtual conference was the bomb. The gifts from the vendors, Sarah's High Top Soaps, Deborah's Botanicals, Vanessa's products, ooh-wee, they were all good. Not to mention Yolanda, yes. Insert random policy and brilliance. But I say that to say we're right there right now, again, with a little technology known as AI. And there are some people, if you're one of these people, I want you to hear me and hear me well. Typically, when you're in a corporate space, they want to see the research to prove that whatever said idea is a good idea. The problem with research and innovation is those two don't necessarily go side by side. Typically, you are doing the research when you are innovating. If it is research backed and research proven, it's not innovative. You're just showing that, yes, I can do what was already done. So if you have an idea about something, go for it. Not saying that it's always going to pan out, but at some point, somewhere, you are going to find why you needed to learn that thing or do that particular thing. I had no idea when I picked up my cell phone and started live streaming this hobby of making soap that it would ship to 17 countries and all over the United States. I had no idea that I would be a self-published author. I would have books. I would be able to travel to places like Ghana and China, across the United States, teaching soap making or just having workshops in senior centers and libraries, because I was just sharing what it was that I was doing authentically. So you got to also look at your intentions behind what it is that you're doing. Are you doing it for the recognition, or is it something that you're genuinely 100% interested in? When I started live streaming, I thought about the artists around me. I thought about my brother, people I went to school with who were naturally gifted and talented. And I saw a platform like live streaming eliminate the need for a middleman completely. Like, you could show up to people by pressing a button on your cell phone from wherever you were and share whatever it was that you wanted to share, which was unheard of. Before, you would have to have a media crew come out, have them interview you, and have them say that you were an expert. But by you constantly showing up and sharing what it is that you know, what you love, what you like, people will naturally find you and want to get to know you a little better. Blah, blah, blah. Right, Bird? I'm telling you, that's how it feels when you're in corporate. That's Bird right there, guys. She'll be here this afternoon, tomorrow, all week. Hashtag Bird Gang. That is a ongoing coupon code. When you know it, you know it. And right now is a time to grow. It's like putting a puzzle together if you are consistent. I'm finally doing my painting because of your advice, Z. I am so glad. I want to see your Instagram. Well-deserved success and inspiration for so many. But every single one of us, I'm going to repeat this, it's not just unique to Zakia. Every one of us has a unique gift, skill, talent, or ability. We have access to tools that people before, like I think of a Madam C.J. Walker, right? If she would have had the internet at the time that she was around, and she was able to make millions just by like popping her trunk, it was more than popping her trunk, but you get where I'm going. If they were able to do it under such circumstances, so much racism, what is our excuse for not doing it with access to the tools that we have now? If you don't want to be on video because you don't look so fabulous, that's fine. You can speak it and make it a podcast. If you don't really like the way you sound or you don't want to be seen on camera, you can write it in the form of a blog or a book. Or do the best of all worlds like I do, live stream it, chop it up, make it a short, make it a podcast, make it a blog article, but get your message out there. And if ultimately you want to sell a product, start learning the tools that you need to be able to sell it. And then remember, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. You will probably get it. And the more that you think you can, I know it's a cliche, but I'm going to say it. The more that you think you can, you will. The more that you think you can't, you will not. You absolutely will not. Went to AT&T to get a new phone yesterday, and the little girl there had never heard of Periscope. We were blessed. Periscope. And I'm going to get off this broadcast because I got to go get Paige from dance class. But I'll be back. Before I go, I'm going to make up the lye solution for the 3 30-pound batches of soap. In case you guys haven't been here with me before, we're attempting to do 15 30-pound batches. And in order for me to do 30-pound batches, I typically will put them in molds this size. And this will hold 30 pounds of soap. And so I have to have all of that ready to go. Oh boy, don't fall. I have to have all of that ready to go. So what I'll do is I will make up the lye solution. But let's talk about Periscope. Periscope was my entry into live streaming. It was a new app in 2015. There were others kind of before it, but Periscope took off more so than any of the others. And Periscope allowed you from your cell phone to push a button and go live to anybody who had the app. And unlike these platforms that we're on right now, it was all organic, right? People didn't have to be connected to you to find you. It would just show up. And if what you were doing was interesting, they would join your broadcast. And when they joined your broadcast, you could, now, if I knew all the things I knew today, I would have been capturing everybody's email and phone number from the first time I pressed go live. That was the one mistake that I made, because if they didn't come back, then there was no way for you to stay in touch with them. But it allowed me to grow into what I consider a micro influencer. And it was just a really interesting time where it was our own community where you were kind of making friends with people all over the world. I could be laying in my bed on a Saturday morning and come on to Periscope, and I would be looking at the pyramids in Egypt. Or I always talk about the chocolate factory from this guy. His name was Chocolate Johnny. And when I saw that people could share whatever it was that they wanted, good, bad, or indifferent. You also had the trolls on there. They would say stuff like show bobs, which was their way of saying show boobs, but it just wasn't programmed right, whatever. Um, but it gave me a chance to see just what was possible with this tool. And nothing else on the internet became crystal clear for me like it did with Periscope and live streaming, because I saw that we have access to all of these tools, and many of them are free. And I put free in quotes because you'll pay with either your time or your money to get someone else to set it up. And time is money. But WordPress for a website at the time, Anchor if you want to do a podcast, which is now on Spotify for podcasting, YouTube if you want to have video, you get the transcript automatically. MailChimp at the time if you wanted to set up an email list. But all of these tools are there to at least get you started. So once you get to the point where you can scale, you have the customers to be able to pay for those expenses, and just making sure that you're accounting for those expenses when you are pricing your products. And the last thing I want to talk about is the cost of water. I looked at my memory on Facebook, and it was from today, last year, and I was at Giant getting water, and I had scored because I paid 79 cents for 1 gallon. And it was on sale. I was excited. It's normally 99 cents, so I was saving 20 cents. Today, when I went to Giant to go and get that same gallon of distilled water, ask me how much it costs. Ask me how much it costs. 3 for $4. So it has doubled in price for a single gallon of water. So for all of my product makers, I need you to really take a look at how much you are paying for ingredients. The price that you charged last year cannot be the same price that you're charging this year. If water has gone up, you know all of your other ingredients have gone up. Have you accounted for that so that you are still profitable? And can you buy your ingredients in larger quantities to cut down on your cost of goods sold? Holy moly donut shop. So that's what I have for you all today. I am going to do the mom shuffle to go and get Paige, but we have some of our sugar scrubs. We will have twice this amount by Sunday, and then we will also get our 3 loaves of 30-pound soap poured this afternoon. Hopefully you all can join me for that broadcast. This was really fun to do, and thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful day. Let me make sure I didn't miss any of your comments, which I probably did, but I can't scroll on this iPad. So thank you guys. Bye-bye. See you later. See you later, alligator.